What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ProRevenge. Alright, this story's called Taught a Lesson to My Idiot Boss Who Tried to Get Credit and a Promotion for Software I Made and Fired Me Over It. I was working in a finance company last year. One day I proposed to my manager that since I have a computer programming background, I know that for that manual job XYZ, automation can be done using some new tech and it'll reduce 500 man-hours per week. He also has some tech background, so he says it hasn't been done because it can't be done and behaved with condescension. I, bullheaded and with crap to prove and a CV to build, developed it on my own, in my own time, on my home computer, then compiled it into a binary, which is a single executable file without code, and gave it to him. He got permission from the IT department to run it on his computer and was utterly sure that it won't work and he would get to laugh at me. But it did. Even though the software works, Idiot Manager took it as an insult somehow and banned me from using it, giving some insane reason that doing it manually was much more effective, which was a bummer because it was working beautifully. Fast forward a quarter or so. My manager was hard-pressed for some brownie points during appraisals, so in examples of showing initiative, he used my software, but without mentioning me. Some super senior manager took notice and gave him a promotion and a raise. Now, instead of being a sensible guy and coming clean to get code from me, he calls me in from his cabin, behaves rudely, and says that I need to submit the code for that software. I asked him why. You said we won't be using it. He's like, either you submit the code or you'll be fired. I was already fed up with being treated like crap by this crap stain just because he was somehow jealous. So I said, step off, I won't submit the code. I know enough law to know that you can't sue me, and I resign. I came to know later through my colleagues that this is what he must have wanted, so that he could take the entire credit himself without dispute. Little did he know, there was a malicious code module hidden in that executable file, which checked for a 1 or a 0 on a remote GitHub repository every time it was run. If 1 or no network, do everything as required. But if a 0 is received, that's the emergency signal. I added that little code because his behavior was very crappy to begin with, and I didn't trust him. I was planning to remove it after its official implementation, which never happened. So I went ahead and changed that 1 to a 0 after I was fired, to ensure no one used it without my permission. Although he couldn't get the code, he did have the executable file, and I was also not in the company anymore. So in his arrogance, he called a meeting with his boss, his colleagues, and my whole team to show them a demo of this awesome software he had made. He was using it on his laptop every day without my knowledge. But today, the 1 was a 0. So as soon as he pressed enter, nothing happened. He pressed enter again. Nada. Suddenly, his laptop was frozen and nothing was working anymore. It took him a while to realize something fishy was going on, and then he took out the laptop battery to switch it off. By then, all the Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files were encrypted, and the executable had erased itself out of existence. I used the same code without the malicious module to get a better job at another company, where I'm much more appreciated and the job is also fun. Then the whole Brovid thing happened and now I'm cozily working from my home. My previous colleagues of that crappy company keep telling me that they are being forced to go to office, so somehow it was the best decision I had made accidentally. That idiot boss's promotion and raise got cancelled because he couldn't produce what he promised. He also got reprimanded for losing a lot of important company data, which he attributed to some unknown virus, which wasn't believable because no one's allowed to put anything on those office laptops without security clearance from the IT department. He called me one night, drunk, angry, threatening me that he knows what I did. I feigned ignorance and quoted something like, "Crap happens to crappy people," and blocked his number. But I had to tell someone about this flawless victory over stupid without being implicated. So here it is. Update. Hello people, thanks for all the likes and comments. I love you guys and I'm overwhelmed to say the least. There are some questions which keep coming up again and again, so I'm answering them here in this post. I tried to answer each of them in the comments individually, but now I have to sleep. Question 1. Being a finance-related company, they generally have stringent security measures. How could the IT department allow the manager to load the program on his laptop? And why didn't they check its network communication or run it through an antivirus? Answer 1. This is not the kind of company a lot of people here are envisioning. Yes, they have security measures like blocked USB ports, firewalls, etc. in place, but just so that if a client visit happens, they can qualify. Most of the employees in IT departments are highly underpaid, sick of red tapeism and blame games. So if it's not a very weird request, they generally just ask for an email from the project manager and load whatever software they need, especially custom ones because they can't really verify them. Horrible practice, I know, but no one cares there. If crap happens, which is quite frequent there, everyone starts showing their email copies to everyone and it becomes a mess. Another reason is that the financial data which these guys process is historical and hence not very sensitive. Obviously they pretend to care, but even if someone stole it, it's not like some sensitive insider trading info which has very high value. Maybe that's why no one cares much. Regarding firewall restrictions, they are also quite lax. Like I mentioned in the comments, they keep blocking websites when they realize people are wasting time on them. Common time waster banned websites being Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, most video of adult variety sites, most game sites, etc. There have been instances when people have been able to open a video of adult variety site if it's quite new. Once it's known, it's blocked promptly. Obviously, websites like Stack Overflow, GitHub, Bitbucket are not blocked because they don't see them as time wasters, and someone somewhere keeps requesting access to them for productive work. They did run a program through a basic antivirus. It didn't show up as suspicious, and there can be a lot of reasons for it. Primary being crappy antivirus. I keep checking it on my computer and it's not detected there either, maybe because the code doesn't seem familiar enough to it. Maybe because I don't use Golang. Maybe because they just suck. I don't know, and I'm not an expert in antiviruses, but the ones I've tried in VM are Quick Heal, McAfee, whatever you want to call them, and Norton, and all three of them don't show anything. That company was using Quick Heal. Question 2. Why did you have to encrypt the files? Why couldn't you just leave it at self-destruction? It's a felony. It's a crime. Answer 2. Yes, guys, I know it's a crime, and sadly, I don't really have a fancy excuse for this. I was just plain cocky and angry. I felt I wouldn't get caught and that the guy was up my ass for a long time. I instinctively knew he would do some weird crap when I'd handed it over to him, so I wanted to teach him a lesson. If he did some crap. If he would have implemented it, I would have replaced it with a non-exploit version and no one would have known. If he would have given me a sane reason not to implement it, that also would have been fine. Even if he would have fired me, or coerced resignation, I might not have triggered it from outside because of the risks. But when he stooped so low as to claim it as his own while getting rid of me, I lost all sense of self-preservation, left the company, and just let it go kaboom. I knew that I'd only encrypt the documents he was working on, and nothing more than that. And the general protocol is to just format the affected laptop afterwards. no one really bothers there to trace the source or to notify authorities. Random malware and virus cases have happened there before. Also, due to my personal history with that guy, I kinda knew what he would do and what he wouldn't. Having said that, a lot of crap could have gone sideways, and although I was super careful at each step, it could have turned into a horrible nightmare. Anyone getting inspired by this? Do not do this, please! Question 3. How do you know what happened in that meeting? Answer 3. My ex-colleagues told me everything over drinks later. They are unaware of my involvement. Question 4. Can you get caught due to your GitHub repo? As they can trace the homing signal to that. Answer 4. It's an anonymous repo made with a fake email ID. It just consists of some garbage generic-looking HTML text with a yes-no hidden in it. I never log in or access it directly, and though unlikely, even if GitHub saw its access logs, it'd never trace back to my actual IP. Question 5. Sometimes you say you were fired and sometimes you say you resigned? Answer 5. I was asked to resign. I didn't have any choice. It's equivalent to getting fired. I just chose to resign peacefully because I had already had my eyes on another company which needed me. I did not want this black mark on my CV and did not want to keep working by telling on this guy to the seniors and creating an even more hostile work environment. The job was not worth it anyway. Question 6. How long did you take to make it? Answer 6. 3 to 4 months. Question 7. What tech stack did you use? Answer 7. Golang for coding, Linux as OS, some external libs, but mostly standard lib maybe? I don't want std lib. Provided everything I needed. Compiled into a single statically linked binary targeted for Windows 10. Question 8. Why couldn't you just sell it and get rich? Answer 8. It's not that easy. It'd have taken years of convincing, security compliance, and things I generally wasn't in a mood to get into. Getting a job in another company and then implementing it there was easier. Got a good package because of it. I'm building up on it so I can start my own consulting firm in a few years when I have some senior perspective of tech and finance. Question 9. Final aftermath of the manager? Answer 9. He was given an offer of promotion and a raise contingent on implementation of this software, which never happened, so the offer got cancelled and he had to go through a lot of embarrassment. The reprimands I talked about were mostly because some client meetings got delayed due to the missing Excel and PowerPoint files that he had to make again over the next 2 weeks. I guess he must have had some versions of backups in mail. I came to know that he was able to reproduce them again eventually. Question 10. Can it ever be traced back to you? Answer 10. Since I manually copied the file on my manager's USB drive, then he himself went and got the approval for its installation on his laptop, saying that he was the file owner and responsible for it, and then he himself executed it, in the process encrypting and deleting only his own files. I don't come in the picture at all. Even if tomorrow he tells the truth to everyone, there's nothing that points to me. I've erased its existence from my side. All I have to say is, I don't know what the heck this guy's talking about. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the story. In case you think it's fake, well, too bad. Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. True that, buddy. Well, good on you for taking initiative, and it can pay off. As you can see, maybe not right away because people are jerks, but take it to the right place, you market yourself the right way, you can make a lot of things work for you. Just look at prostitutes. This story's called Best College Speaker Ever. When finishing up my degree in criminal justice, we had to learn about how the justice system works and how it sometimes doesn't. For about 2 weeks, we studied a case from the early 90s of a woman that had killed her husband. Because the case is public record and a very interesting read, look up Betty Freeburg, 1993. The setting was small town in Iowa, and the husband was the town drunk. Everyone in town knew him for a drunk, a brawler, a womanizer, and overall, just a bad person. His wife was a stay-at-home mom, and she wasn't allowed to work or leave the house aside from getting groceries. He would go home, beat her, and violate her sexually, and the cycle would go on, and the whole town knew. Neighbors were a quarter-mile down the road and would still call the police when they heard noises. It was well documented, and because he was never a threat to their daughter, the police did nothing aside from take him to jail like a revolving door. Each time he got out, he'd beat her up again. Their daughter was away at college, but came home for Thanksgiving while the father was at work. The daughter told the mother that her father had violated her sexually, and that she had even had a get-out-of-baby card because of it. This was the breaking point for my mother. She got her revenge 100-fold. When the daughter went back to school after the holidays and the husband came home, she killed him with his gun at the kitchen table. The table is important because it was a big farm table used for chopping up deer and other livestock. Doing the butchering was her job, and she was good at it. If you could find the case report, it has pictures of the table and clear marks of chopping. She chopped up her husband and scattered his body over neighboring farms, fed what she could to her livestock, and cleaned up. Months went by and winter came and left. Police investigating his disappearance even questioned her while sitting at the table drinking coffee. She explained the marks on the table by explaining that she butchered her own meat and showed the officers her deep freeze. The investigation went on for months until finally, a neighbor's dog brought back a body part. They identified it as belonging to him, and she was arrested on the spot. She pled not guilty and refused any offers. It went to trial, and 12 of her peers judged her not guilty due to extenuating circumstances. She confessed to the crime, explained why she did it, and how that she had no real choice because no one was going to help her. The farm was hers, and she refused to give it up as it had been her family's home. She was let go entirely for the murder charge. The next week, we had Betty as a speaker to the class to discuss the case, and she was awesome. At the time, ironically, she sold dismemberment insurance for Aflac. Betty, if you ever read this, know you're seen as a figurehead for battered women, and you pulled off the best revenge I have ever been able to study. Honestly, I can't believe that she'd do something like that. Why did she think it was okay to throw pieces of garbage around like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, be considerate for your fellow man. Very satisfying revenge. Okay guys, as you know, we like to read wholesome stories at the end of a revenge video, so here we have a story from r/malicious compliance called Wholesome Malicious Compliance. My daughter argued over half a donut. She ended up with no donut. This is all in fun, but was nice to win for once. Last night, I bought a package of donuts for my family. There's 5 of us to share. This morning, there was a half of a donut, along with several whole donuts, left from my daughter taking a half and leaving the other. I took the half since nobody had eaten it and had a wonderful snack. A little while later, my daughter comes in upset that someone had eaten her half of a donut. She's 16, I don't know. She gets upset by a lot of things. I said I ate it, and she got mad and said, "That was mine, I was saving it," etc. I explained that if you take half of a donut and leave the other half in the family or community pack, that half is free game. If you want the other half, set it aside. My wife took my daughter's side. My younger 2 agreed with me. We ended by agreeing that if someone leaves half a donut in the pack, nobody should take it except the person that left it there. Exact wording. Fast forward a couple of hours and I'm standing in the kitchen to see that exactly half of the donuts are gone, which gives me an idea. I wash my hands, take out every donut, cut them in half, and fill the pack with the newly halved treats, along with a note. And the note says, "Some men just want to watch the world burn." My daughter came in the kitchen and started saying, haha, very funny, and reached for a donut. I jokingly smacked her hand away and said, sorry kid, those are my donuts. Those are the rules. Her eyes went wide. She was speechless. My wife thought it was hilarious and said I win. I let my daughter have her donut anyway. You weakling! You're supposed to stand your ground. But no, I side with the daughter. You should leave halved things in your family pack or whatever, because obviously someone left it there because they just probably want to save it for later. And besides, why would you want to take the halved one? You want to take the full ones because then you'll get your fair share. But anyway, yeah, respect people's food. However, in my family's house, I take what I want. I don't care. I'm the oldest, so like, what are they gonna do? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.